Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, so uh, I am Husna binti Muhammad Sabri, and with my group members, Husna Izzati, we'll talk about awareness of universal design. We had choose the article about accessible environment, people with disabilities at most, universal design. Okay, so the first main point from this article is the targets of the universal design itself is about a person with disabilities. Okay, so firstly, we must know what is people with disabilities. Okay, so uh, they are the people with physical, hearing, and sight impairment, or any combination of thereof, which affects their mobility to their use in the buildings. Okay, so because of that, people with disabilities, or we call them as PWDs, must require special facilities due to limited physical or mental capabilities since birth, or maybe the outcome of accident or disease. So there are four categories of PWDs, which is visual disabilities, hearing disabilities, physical disabilities, and mental disabilities. Okay, so because our topic is about mosque, right? So it will touch about Muslim PWDs, right? So in this article, they had to talk about Muslim PWDs. So they have expressed their frustration and dilemma in visiting the main mosque throughout Malaysia, because when the mosque or the destination facility does not provide good infrastructure for PWDs, then it made them stress out, because their trip to the mosque become more difficult and depressing. So because of that, because of the not good facilitate, so they cannot have their own obligation at most with other Muslims. Okay, so that is the first point. So the second point is universal design about most. Okay, so first, the universal design objective of universal design is to not demystify people's impairment, not to rather to avoid such attention to their impairments, right? Okay, and to minimize public tendency to social ostracism. So, whenever they are, so people will not give so much attention at their impairments, right? So, it will not give them such difficulties like that. So these barriers eventually discourage them to visit mosques for prayers and other activities related to mosques. Okay, such as the disabled toilet doors that are supposed to open to the outside are mistakenly installed the other way around. So, and the ramps are built too steep, which could be dangerous to the users, especially person on a wheelchair. Okay, so that is one of the barriers that PWDs will face if the facilities at most are not good for them. Okay, so actually most are the one of the most visited and used place at any time of the day, and people tend to use the toilet and ablution areas the most. Okay, so that is the reason why most mosques have provided sufficient large areas for ablution and toilets, and it is located at ground level or one level under prayer hall. So actually, the all of the standards of universal design that have been set up by our own country and other country as well. Okay, so the objective is to ensure that persons with disabilities, especially in Malaysia, have the same rights to equality before the law as the rest of the community in the country, and to eliminate discrimination against persons on the ground of disability in various areas of life. Okay, so we must remember whoever we are, and whether we are a normal person or with disabilities, we must respect each other. Okay, so I will pass the next point to Husna Izati.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Husna Izzati binti Mazhari, and I'm going to continue with the next point, which is accessibility. With the enforcement of the PWDs Act in 2008, the government wishes to provide PWD with enhanced accessibility in various aspects. However, some of the modifications are not built according to the codes. Therefore, there are risky to users, such as what Husna just said now, the toilet doors installed wrongly and ramps are built too steep. Hence creates burden to the PWDs, the temporarily ambulant, and the elderly. This shows that the accessibility in the built environment is in line with the universal design principles to determine the requirement design for the PWDs. Next, facilities. The importance of providing accessible toilets and accessible ablution areas in masjid is also part of Islamic virtue, as these areas are provision policies of purifying oneself. The facilities are divided into two impaired, which is the visual impaired and the hearing impaired. The visual impaired emphasize on the design of guiding blocks, tactile direction or warning indications, facilities in the building, and signage of the building. Meanwhile, the hearing impaired focus on the attitude of frontline staff and signage, while the wheelchair bound emphasize on high gradients or level changes, ramp, barriers in front of ablution faucets, and size of the doors and furnitures layout in the PWD's restroom. And last point is responsibility. The responsibility of the society and government in providing equal opportunities for all citizens to participate in economical and social interactions is inevitable. Therefore, the people in charge should offer equitably and protective treatment of the rights of every individual regardless of their physical ability or disability, as it is the cornerstone of equality within the Muslim society. That's all. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.